My name is Vera Young. My mama was a quilter, and of course when I was a little girl I used to sit with her, and I made a quilt while I was a teenager. The first quilt I ever made. I pieced it, and we put it in a big frame, and she helped me. I did quilt some of it, but she helped me quilt it. My mother sewed, and she made all of our clothing, and we just made the quilts out of the scraps. We used to piece the whole quilt, layer it up in a big frame, and hang it up. If you had a room big enough, you know, it was suspended. And at my home, where I learned to quilt, we had it in the dining room, and we'd pull it up over the table where we ate our meals. Eventually, after many, many years of quilting in a big frame, after I was an adult, I learned how to quilt, lap quilting. I could quilt a block or a strip of blocks and then put them together and complete it. Ever since I was 16 years old, I've been working on a quilt, seems like. That's the cathedral window pattern, and you can make it in any color or any fabrics that you want to use in there. And I made this to give to a young man who was engaged to get married, and that was the colors he wanted. But the marriage never did happen, and I kept the pillow. This may be, I believe it is, the first quilt I made where I bought fabrics, especially to make a quilt. Mostly I just used what was left over from other projects, but I'm sure that I bought those fabrics. What I used when I first started, it was what my mama used, was we got feed in cotton sacks, and she would take them apart and clean them up, you know, wash them and make them till you could use it. And that's what we used for the backs and the solid color was a feed sacks.
That's amazing.
We lived in poor times, and we made use of everything. I sew the blocks together on the sewing machine, like all these little seams here are machine sewed, and then I would hand quilt it. I don't know how to quilt any other way, and I can still do it a little bit. Well, every quilt show I've ever entered, let's say I got a ribbon, maybe first place.